Peace everyone, Unmask here, and welcome back to another self-portrait live stream. Today is day 11, so we're getting pretty close to halfway through the month, and I am not even close to halfway through this drawing. So I need to try to pick up the pace. My goal today, as you can see from the title, is to do my ear and my neck, so my whole face area will be complete. And then tomorrow, I think what I'll do is my hair, and then that part will be 90% complete. I'll still have more work to do later on, but so at least by the end of the weekend, I think I can have that part done. And then what I'll probably end up doing is spending the rest of next week maybe doing my shirt, because that's a lot of area, that's a lot of paper, and so maybe I'll spend like Monday through Thursday trying to get my shirt done. So that's going to be the goal. Real quick, let me say hello to everyone. Hello, Crystal, Christy, Catrice, Maddie, sorry. Looked like an L for a second. Sandri, Sneaks, Sue, Bertram, I think this is the first time I saw you in the live stream, so welcome very much. And yeah, so let me just go ahead and get started here. I'm going to start with this color, I think. Hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend so far. I am having a good time. All right, so the way I'm going to start this is, when you're working on an ear, you always have like the darker parts of the ear, the shadows, and they usually make a pretty distinct shape, and that is the case with my ears. You have the more red, pink parts of the ear where the light from behind is coming through, and that's what makes your ears look really red, is when you have a light in the back. There's a technical word for that, but I don't know what it is. That effect of the light coming through. I don't know if it's a technical art name or just a technical name, but pretty sure there's a technical name for it. So I'm just going to work the dark shapes first, and then that will protect my details that I had drawn down there. Hello, Morris. I'm just to say Morris, and Christian. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for coming by the stream. I know there's a lot of things you could be doing on a Saturday, so I really appreciate you guys coming by and hanging out with me while I work on this self-portrait. So anyways, nothing much else going on today. I went for a really lovely walk with my wife. Took a couple hour walk, and the weather was much nicer today, as it has been kind of crappy the last few days. It's been raining and really cold, but today we had good weather and we made use of it. Walked around for a bit, and then we went to the grocery store to just pick up a few things, and I got a couple fresh coconuts, a couple fresh coconuts. And I don't know if anybody in the live stream chat has gotten their own like fresh coconut, but it is the best. I love poking out one of the eyes and getting the coconut water out and then cracking it in half, and just peeling out the coconut meat. It's the best. I love it. King Jonas, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for the greetings. A neighbor to the west. And Raise Up Ace from Belgium. Cool. I'm not sure if I have very many Belgium viewers, so welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out. If you guys have any questions for me, you know, just ask away. I never turn away a question, so feel free to ask as many questions as you want. The more questions that you guys ask, I think the better the live stream ends up going. And for anyone that might be new to my live streams, just know that the conversations can get pretty random. We talk about all kinds of stuff on the live streams. We try to keep it, art related, but as it happens, we get sidetracked and talk about all kinds of stuff. Especially on these daily live streams, you can never guess where the conversation's going to end up. So. Hey there, Mache. Good to see you. Oh, that's cool, Sandrine. How is life going? That's a very general question. Life is going very well. I really enjoy doing these daily live streams. They've been going super well, and I've been having a lot of fun working on my self-portrait. It really helps the month go by quickly, and I kind of want to get through May. I want to get through May rather quickly because in June I will be visiting my family in the United States, so I'm really, really excited to see them. It's been, about 6 months or so, a little over 6 months since I saw them last, so it'll be really great to catch back up and spend some quality time with them, and the new baby that's going to be coming into the family as well, so I am very excited about that. And while I'm there in the United States, I'll be looking for a house with my sister. No guarantees that I will find a house, but I will be looking nonetheless. And so fingers crossed with that endeavor. I've been, most of you know I've been looking for a house here in Poland, but haven't had much luck. And the more I look, the more I think about it, the more I realize that selling houses isn't really that common in this area. Most people live in flats here, since it is a larger city, and so I don't know if there's going to be much luck on the house front here in Poland. So I'm going to kind of switch gears and look in the United States for a little bit. Not necessarily to move there, but to own a house, maybe two, and just have my sister manage the property while I live here, and we can just split the profit of the tenants that will live in the house. But yeah, and then also, if you haven't been following the live streams, then you probably don't know that I've been, not only am I doing daily live streams for the entire month of May, but my wife and we are doing a very unique take on our vegan diet. For the entire month of May, we're eating 100% whole food, no sugar, no flour, no oil, and no processed food. And today was a super tasty day. Yesterday was also. Yesterday, what was yesterday? Yesterday was Friday. And yeah, so Wednesday, I have to try to think up the the whole story here. I'm terrible at stories. So Wednesday, we went out, and my wife and I, and watched Avengers Endgame for a second time in the movie theater, because it's worth seeing twice, in my opinion. But there's this one scene, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, so calm down. There's this one scene where Ant-Man is holding tacos. If you count that as a spoiler, then I'm sorry. But he's holding tacos. And they just look delicious. The tacos, they just look delicious. And I guess it kind of stuck with me after we watched the movie, because yesterday I was like, I need something taco. I need to think of a way to create some kind of taco-esque food for dinner. And I had already been kind of working up this idea with green lentils. And if you've never had green lentils, then you're missing out. They're very tasty, and they don't take any effort to cook. You know, you don't even have to know how to cook them to make them taste good. But they kind of have, if you overcook them a little bit and they get a bit softer, they start to break apart. And after you boil them, if you transfer them to a frying pan and you mix them with some spices, and in the case of yesterday, I just seasoned them with spices that you would associate with ground beef that you would use for tacos. So essentially taco seasoning. You know, I put in a little bit of paprika, salt, pepper. I didn't have much. I had a bit of chili powder, not chili powder, but chili seasoning that has like cumin and coriander in it. And then, of course, chili. And so that's how I seasoned it, to kind of create the ground beef of a taco. And then I used, what was the other? Oh, and then, of course, I made homemade refried beans, which I have kind of slowly mastered over the past few months. But when I first was working, creating the recipe, I would use oil, but I don't anymore, and I won't after this month, because it tastes just as good without oil, so why not just make it healthier? And I apologize, I might be missing a lot of questions here, but I want to get through this story. If you have to blame somebody, blame Mache, because he's the one that got me on the topic, asking me the most general question in the world. Anyways, so I made the lentils, I made the refried beans, and then I just chopped up an onion, or a tomato. I don't know how I got those two mixed up, and an avocado. And so the only thing missing was, what am I going to put it on? You know, how am I going to eat a taco if I'm not doing any flour stuff? So there's no tortillas, no crunchy corn tortilla taco shells, because I don't know how to make those in the first place, and I can't buy them because it would be processed food. So I thought, well, what if I just use a large piece of iceberg lettuce? So I just put the taco filling in one like leaf of lettuce, and then I just kind of hold it like a taco. And that's exactly what I did. And you know, the iceberg lettuce, if you get good iceberg lettuce, to where, you know, maybe even somewhat young iceberg lettuce, so a smaller head of lettuce, not those giant, huge, ridiculous ones, the leaves will have a bit more of a crunch to it. They'll be a bit crunchier. And it completely replaced the taco shell. You know, obviously it didn't taste as magnificent as, crunchy corn tortilla taco shell, but it was still very good, and I enjoyed it very much. My wife even enjoyed it, and she's hard to please in the kitchen. Um, but yeah, so that's what we did. That's how I did the whole food tacos. No processed nothing, no oil or anything like that. And it turned out really, really well. It was very good and super fulfilling, and it hit just the right spot. I wanted taco something or other, and it was just exactly what I was asking for. And then for lunch today, I had the leftover taco filling stuff, so I didn't have any large leaves to make tacos, so I just shredded up the rest of the lettuce and made taco salads instead. And of course, it was also delicious. So yeah, that was a bit of what I ate today. And then when we went for our walk, I got some cherries, and because while we were walking, I was like, man, I kind of miss the sweet foods. We would there's this vegan ice cream place that every Tuesday and Friday they have vegan flavors, and maybe like once a month they'll have a flavor worth going out and picking up. But obviously we're not doing that this month. So I was thinking, what could I do? What could I make that would be sweet, but I can't use sugar. So we're not doing any sugar this month. And so I thought, well, what if I did a cherry pie? And now bear with me, obviously, if you look up a recipe for cherry pies, you're almost not ever going to be able to find a sugar-free cherry pie recipe that you like. So I was kind of thinking in my head, how could I make a cherry pie with no oil, no sugar, no flour, no nothing, essentially nothing. And there was this one recipe that I had a really, really long time ago, to do raw cheesecake, and it's made out of cashews. The cheesecake part is made out of cashews, and you don't have to cook anything. You just use a food processor to create everything. And sorry, I'm trying to find my line art here. So I kind of branched off from that idea. From that past recipe. And so what I did to make my sugar-free, flour-free, everything-free cherry pie is that I just took the cherries and I boiled them in a little bit of orange juice and lemon juice, to keep them from being bitter. And to the orange juice was to sweeten them, and then the lemon was to keep things like from being too bitter. So it was just a balance between bitterness, sweetness, and sour, which is essentially the only thing you need to do when you're cooking, especially when it comes to sweets. So that's what I did for the cherry filling. And I just boiled those cherries while I worked on the crust. And for the crust, what I did is I took pecans and walnuts, dates, and some lemon juice, and I just put them all in a food processor and ground it up to like a powder. And then with the dates in the lemon juice, it makes I guess it would be kind of like a walnut pecan flour, a little bit, I guess, is it makes it clump up really well. And you can kind of work it with your fingers into the pie pan to make a crust. And so that's what I did to make the crust, and I already knew that it was going to taste well because I've done it before in the past, and it's good. You know, I can recommend it. It tastes good. And if you don't like the taste of dates, you can use raisins instead. Or if you don't like the price of dates, you can use raisins instead, because dates are, you know, sometimes they can be a little pricey. And so I just I took the paste that I made for the crust, pushed it into the pie pan, strained the juice out of the cherry filling, and then put it in the pie. Threw it in the oven for about 10 minutes, because honestly it doesn't really need to bake since there's no flour in it. So I just put it in there to kind of crisp the edges of the crust and kind of caramelize the top of the cherries a little bit. And I had a piece before I started streaming, and it worked. The only thing is that I should have gotten more cherries. I didn't think that it would take that much cherries, but cherries deflate a lot when you boil out the juices, and I didn't take that into account. So the only mistake that I would say that I made is that I didn't have enough cherries, but it still tasted really good. And then, of course, after I baked it, I took the fresh coconut that I bought, and I grated some of the fresh coconut meat over top of the cherry pie. So I didn't hold back. I went full Gordon Ramsay today in the kitchen, and a little bit yesterday with the tacos. Yeah, I was quite proud of myself today and yesterday, because I really enjoy cooking, and you know, I'm not using recipes for this stuff. I'm making it up just from experience and coming up with these recipes on my own. Anyways, I'll stop talking about food. I don't want anybody to stop watching because I make them hungry and they leave. Let me just scroll back, make sure that I didn't miss any questions. Surprising how just the little you've done on the ear has grounded you in the picture. Yeah, it does. It does help, you know, to put that ear on. Good to see you too, Iris. Ever had to deal with a defective pencil? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, every once in a while you get a defective pencil, and I have probably around, I don't know, 1,500 pencils. You're guaranteed to find a defective one in there. No, not really considering a fixer-upper for the house. I'm really looking for something that I can get and then rent out pretty much immediately. I'm not looking to do work on the house. I suppose if I had to paint it, then you know, I would do that, but that's, you know, I could probably get a decent deal from a friend or something like that to do a fresh coat of paint before I rent the house out, something along those lines. But yeah, not really looking for that. If you love lentils, you should try them with pasta. Yep, I have. Yeah, lentils, onions, and then whatever noodle. We've done it with several noodles, and then my red pasta sauce. Yeah, we do that all the time because that's what originally actually gave me the idea of using lentils as ground beef. Because my wife, she actually came up with the idea of adding the lentils to the pasta, and it was really, really good. And I was like, you know, this kind of reminds me of when people put ground beef in their pasta sauce, which the idea of that is just a waste of ground beef, in my opinion. But if you need meat in your sauce, odds are you need better sauce. Yeah, it gave me the idea, and so that's when I started thinking up new ways to use green lentils as ground beef replacement. And I'll be doing it more in the future, for sure. I think I still have more. I could always make Jello with fruit juice and unflavored gelatin. No, I can't, because gelatin is boiled pig bones. Gelatin is not vegan. uh, yeah, don't eat gelatin. You could also blend frozen fruit and some vegan milk in a food processor, and you'd have something like ice cream. Yeah, it's not like ice cream. I have tried several homemade vegan ice cream concoctions, and I have never liked them. I've done a lot of them. I can assure you, I've done many different recipes. I've tried vanilla flavor. Excuse me. I've tried vanilla flavors, chocolate flavors, strawberry flavors, cherry flavors, and the vegan ice cream thing is not easy to do, because when it comes to good ice cream, in my opinion, it's not always about the taste. It's about the texture. And, you know, I've tried many different store-bought vegan ice creams, and there's some vegan ice creams that taste like ice, or they just have the texture of ice. And what ends up happening is that as they melt, they don't melt like ice cream. They melt like an ice cube, which is just not fun to eat, especially out of an ice cream cone. But vegan ice cream has certainly come a very long way. They have mastered it. So vegan ice cream is completely indistinguishable from non-vegan ice cream. And in my opinion, it baffles me why bother making non-vegan ice cream? Because what's the point? I think I'm finally caught up with the chat. No, I'm good on the chocolate matcha, thank you. Did I miss? Um, if I use the wrong colors on a picture, how can I fix it? Well, I am assuming that you're referring to colored pencils. Um, if you use the wrong colors, it is very unlikely that you can fix it. Unless it's a very light color in which you can you can cover it with the correct darker color. But colored pencils are not known for their forgiveness. So making a mistake with colored pencils is oftentimes a permanent mistake, unfortunately. So, try not to use the wrong color. I have used the wrong color. I think I did it on my face on this. I think I did it right here, actually, on this cheek. But I didn't use enough of it. I didn't use enough of it for it to be a problem, and I recognized it fairly quickly. And this is a darker part of my face anyway, so I knew that it wasn't going to be the final layer, so it didn't make a huge difference. But yeah, I did it on this drawing here. So, do I recommend Prismacolors? Yes, I do. I always recommend Prismacolors. I even recommend them over luminance if you are, you want to get into colored pencils, you want a good entry level into them, then the full set of Prismacolors, you can't beat it. I don't care what anybody says, you cannot beat it. They are the perfect entry level pencil into colored pencils because you can do everything at a professional level with these, with Prismacolors, and that's what I started with. I used them for 2.5 years before I ever even tried a different brand. And you get just a wonderful color selection, which makes it a lot easier in the beginning, because it's easier to find a color that is close to what you need as opposed to using more of a limited color palette that you get from luminance and having to mix to get the right colors and tones. So yeah, definitely I always recommend Prismacolors. What is causing the freckles on your neck, paper or pencil? Oh, that is me talking. that is my saliva causing the freckles. There's never a piece of work that I do on a live stream or a tutorial for that matter that does not contain my DNA. So yeah, it's not the pencil or the paper, it's just the talking. How do you feel about the self-portrait so far? I feel really good about it so far. I had positive feelings before I started, and that's what kind of drove me to doing it. And as the expression shows in the portrait, it's kind of the it's kind of the expression of how I feel with where I'm at right now, just in life in general. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I shared my first self-portrait because this is just my second one that I've ever done. I think the next one I do, I might have to do it in a different medium. Not because I'm tired of colored pencils, but because I've just, I've expanded my medium into pastels a lot. I mean, half of my channel is pastels, although it may not seem like it much right now, since I'm spending an entire month working with colored pencils on a daily basis. Maybe I should do a monthly live stream working on, not a monthly live stream, but a daily live stream for a month working on a pastel project, not necessarily a self-portrait. I won't do another self-portrait for several years after this, for sure. But yeah, doing a daily pastel project live stream certainly sounds like something I could have fun with. What do you guys think of that idea? You give really great advice. Well, thank you. Um, I'm glad you feel that way. I try to give. I would say that I don't necessarily give advice, but I am just honest. I'm just genuinely honest with my opinion. And if you take my opinion, maybe with a grain of salt, and you apply it, then you can consider it advice. But yeah, I I I think everybody should do what they want, and if I can help steer you in a better direction, then great. But no pressure, no pressure. I'm not going to think less of you otherwise. But I appreciate that. Oh, hello, Mima. I'm glad you're able to catch the live stream. Tomorrow, I will be live streaming a few hours earlier than today. So be sure to have the bell notification turned on if you want to get notified of when the live stream is. And then, of course, you can check back on my channel. I will have tomorrow's live stream scheduled right after I finish today's live stream. And then also, if you join in the Unmask Art Facebook group, the Unmask Family Facebook group, I have a link for that in the description. I also create daily events over there. So if you're more of a Facebook user, you can get notified an hour before the live stream starts by joining the event. And I will also make that event shortly after this live stream is over. It's usually immediately after. I just kind of turn off the live stream and then just set up the next day, get it done and out of the way. But both of those will have the exact time that tomorrow's live stream will start, so that you are less likely to miss it. And then, of course, I know that we all live in different time zones, so sometimes it's not the best given your location. All right, trying to gosh. Why did that do that? Oh no, how... the sound's back now, right? Wow. I accidentally hit the space bar on my keyboard, and that mutes my microphone. Wow. It's so disappointing. That is super disappointing. Jeez. How long was it like that? I hope it wasn't like that for too long. Oh, jeez. Gone again? What? No, it's not. I don't believe you. Knock it off, Sneaks. I am... You guys can still... You can still hear me, right? No, stop playing tricks on me, okay? 3 minutes? 3 minutes? You know how long 3 minutes is? You know how much I said in 3 minutes? Oh, I don't even know where I left off. Did I even get to the question? Jeez, that's, I was so deep. I was so deep in my story. I can't go back. You ever try to go back on a story? Man, well, I guess you guys are just gonna have to miss out on that story. I'm sorry. I wish I would have noticed sooner. 3 minutes. Oh my gosh. That was just so bad. That was so bad. I want everybody. Okay, so if you gave this live stream a thumbs up, I'm giving everyone a direct order. Okay, direct order. I need everybody to thumbs down this live stream. Okay, I want to see how many thumbs downs I can get on this live stream. All right, I'm being dead serious too. For real, for real. I know a lot of people, they'll come in, they'll even give the live stream a thumbs up before the live stream starts and stuff. If you gave it a thumbs up, switch it to a thumbs down, okay? I want to see how many thumbs downs I can get. After that shenanigans, this live stream definitely deserves it. Just know that the thumbs down, the thumbs up stuff, it doesn't do anything for the video on YouTube, so it's not a problem or anything, and I'm certainly not going to take it personally. So give today's live stream a thumbs down. We're gonna do a little bit of opposite day today. So if you enjoyed the live stream, give it a thumbs down. Okay. See how many people do that. Man, okay. I'll go back. I can start the story over. I can do it over. Okay. The question was, when did I take art seriously, right? Did you guys hear that part? Did you guys hear the question? When did I start taking art seriously? Okay. So my answer to when did I start taking art seriously was when I'm gonna do like the quick abridged version of the first part of the story. Started taking art seriously when I was in the second grade. I was 6 years old. I drew a dinosaur for a science project. It was the first drawing that I did that I really felt like I put myself into, and I spent time practicing it. I drew the dinosaur over and over again to get it the best way that I could, and it is one of the very first memories that I have doing art that I feel very connected to, because I had spent extra time perfecting it and making it look good. Okay, so that was the first synapsis, unabridged version, or the abridged version of that story. And where I got to when I looked up and noticed that nobody could hear me, was that that's why I say, when people ask me how long I've been drawing, I say 26 years, because it was from that time of 6 years old that I practiced art, I practiced drawing. I didn't take it, to the extreme. I was in public school, so of course the art classes are garbage. At least they were where I grew up. And sorry, I gotta stand. I was using my stool. There we go. So then I just spent the time growing up drawing things that I liked. And then when I got to high school, I started drawing people as a freshman. And I would say that it always, was a hobby, but it was a hobby that I really dedicated time to. It was a hobby that I wanted to get good at. So it was something that I took seriously. Now, if you are referring to taking seriously as, when did I look into becoming a professional? The answer to that is never. I never took art seriously in the sense that I wanted to do it professionally. This was kind of just, in the famous words of Bob Ross, a happy accident. Because, most of you know, I got my degree in mathematics. I was going to be a high school math teacher. I didn't get into my master's program right away, so I moved to Poland to take a year off from school, and it was here that I just, started doing YouTube full time to make a little extra money while I was taking a break from school. And it became more than what I expected it. That's really the best way I can put it. Met some really fantastic people, and I just couldn't go back to school. I was able to make enough money to justify not going back to school right away. I have my math degree that I can always fall back on, and so I just took the risk, and I was like, you know what? I'll take an extra year off school, and if I don't meet this particular goal at the end of that year, then I'll just go back to school and get a real job. Not that art is not a real job, because I can assure you, I work a lot more now than I would if I was a teacher, and I make far less than if I was a teacher. So I do this purely out of joy and for everyone that enjoys watching it. I do that. I do it for you guys, because you enjoy it, I enjoy it, and together we enjoy it. Yay. He can't. Oh wait, did I miss something? You hit the thumbs down, it felt very wrong. No, don't feel wrong about it. Feel right. Just turn your phone over, turn your iPad over, turn your computer over, do whatever you need to, and then what it really is just a left-handed thumbs up. All right. So give me a left-handed thumbs up. Although technically, I think I don't know what the thumbs look like. I don't care. It's fine. Yeah, don't feel bad. It's gonna show me. Actually, it's gonna be better. It's gonna show me who was watching the live stream at this point. It's gonna show me how many of you were actually here. It's for research purposes only. Was that a question? I'm 32? No, I'm 30. I'm 30 years old. I think you're talking about my age. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think you're talking about my age. I feel like there's a color that's the color, right? Yeah, that's the color. There was like this color that's missing that I couldn't figure out what was missing. But I found it, thankfully. If you guys have any other questions, I think the Taking Art Serious story is complete. So ask your next question. And I'll try not to mute my microphone right before I answer the question. No, I'm not 40. Did I say 40? What is the best paper for oil color pencils? Okay, so paper question. It's been a little while since I got a paper question. Now this is going to be my opinion, and it may always be my opinion. I have a very flexible mind, even as a 30-year-old. But I don't think my opinion will ever change on this regarding paper. Paper is and always will be a personal choice, and there is no such thing as the best paper. It does not exist. It's all about what you prefer. Right now, I am using Prismacolor, Polychromos, and Luminance. Polychromos is usually referred to as the oil-based pencil. And I'm using pretty much the smoothest paper. I'm using the Strathmore Bristol plate paper, which is very, very smooth. And the pencils work great on there, in my opinion. I think that they work fantastic, they look good, and I like them. But some people don't like this paper. They don't like the smooth paper. Now, that doesn't mean that their paper is wrong and my paper is right. It's just that they prefer something else. And a lot of people like watercolor paper. I've worked on watercolor paper before. Not thrilled about working on watercolor paper. Even the smoother hot pressed watercolor paper. And that's not because I am right and they are wrong. It is just a personal preference. So when I get the paper question, this is my most common response, is what I'm saying right now. And what I usually recommend and say is to go out and get as much different types of paper that you can get. So get the watercolor paper, get the Strathmore Bristol paper, get the sandpaper, the UART sanded paper, or even some people really like colored pencils on pastel mat, which I find weird, but they like it, so more power to them. Because you're going to want to find the paper that you like the most. And the paper that I like the most may not be the paper you like the most, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, that's my answer to the what paper is best, because the reality is that there is no such thing as the best paper. There is just paper. Do I use fixative for your pencil and pastel work? No, I do not. For commissioned artwork that I do with colored pencils, I do varnish my colored pencil work. There's not a lot of work that I do varnish because I don't do commissions, but to protect my colored pencil commissions, I will varnish them. But I never use a fixative on my pastel work. One, you don't need to. They are self-preservable because they are pure pigment. And no matter whether or not you do varnish or you do use a fixative on your pastel paintings, does not change the delicacy of them, and you still have to frame them behind glass anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference whether you do it or not. The only thing is that it changes the colors if you do, and there's probably way more videos than there should ever be about which pastel varnish is best and which one changes the color the least. But the truth is, when you sort out all the nonsense out there regarding using a fixative spray on pastels, is that every single one of them changes the artwork. Every single one. There's not one in existence that doesn't. So I don't do it. And I don't do it because I don't want to change the artwork. The thing about the fixative sprays is that they change your artwork in somewhat unpredictable ways. So that you can sort of plan for using fixative by making your highlights brighter than they should be, and maybe not making your shadows as dark as they should be, because they'll get darker when you spray them. But that's not how I like to do what I do. So I don't fiddle with it. I just flat out don't use it. What colored pencil course is... Oh, your colored pencil course is superbly helpful. Well, thank you so much. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. PMNL? I'm very glad to hear that. That you've enjoyed the course and that you found it helpful. That means a lot to me. I spent a lot of time, thinking about what would have been helpful for me when I was starting out with colored pencils. And so that's kind of the source material that I pulled from to make the course, to design the course in a helpful manner. And so I'm glad that it was helpful for you. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought it was. I thought it was going to, but I need to get some good layers down here. Don't need to finish it entirely, but I certainly need to get it better than what it is. Yeah, the 1000 grit sandpaper, I can imagine that was a pleasure to work on. It's kind of funny working on sandpaper. It seems so counterintuitive, the results that you get. But for those of you that work with colored pencils, I would strongly recommend that you get at least one sheet of sanded paper to work on. UArt or Fisher are two brands that you could look into. Definitely stay like 600 grit or above. Don't go below 600. I don't even know if 600 is usable with colored pencils. So probably go with like 800 or 1000. And if you've never tried sandpaper with colored pencils, definitely try it out. Blending with solvent also. Use solvent to blend. It's just a really, really unique experience. And you would think that you just grind your pencils to a nub, but the reality is that you barely have to touch the paper, and then when you blend with solvent, it just spreads it out really nicely, and you get really good coverage. So it actually doesn't use up much of your pencil. All right, I need some more reds. Okay, I have to go now, but it was a pleasure. Yes, Iris, it was. Thank you so much for popping in. I really appreciate it. You enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'll apply a little bit more color here on my neck, and then I'll blend with solvent, and I think that's going to do it for the day. And then tomorrow I'll work on my hair, and I'll have a good foundation for the head in general. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but where I'm trying to get is I want the last 5 days of the month to be like polishing the details. Maybe not the last 5, but maybe at least the last 2. At least the last 2, I want everything filled in, and then I just want to be working the colors. Because nothing, the background, maybe the background is done, maybe. I think I could probably safely call the background done, but aside from that, nothing is done. So hopefully I can keep those couple days at the end of the month open so that I can just polish the details. That's kind of the time frame I'm aiming for. Gotta add a little bit of gray down here. You know, that's after all the years of working on portraits, especially with colored pencils, it still surprises me how much I use gray in skin. I think gray is one of the most overlooked colors because you just totally miss it. Like there's just so much gray. I think it goes gray and then purple. So gray is the most overlooked color, and then purple is the next most overlooked color. Because purple is literally in every skin. It is like, it's almost like regardless of the lighting. So you could change the lights to any color light, any situation, and there's almost always purple no matter what. Now sometimes, you know, the purple is more saturated or less saturated, but always a purple. Oh, hey, what's up, Cece? Will I ever sell my self-portrait? No, I will not. No, I will not sell my self-portrait. I've talked a lot about like why I'm doing a self-portrait over the past week of doing the live streams, and you know, I don't do them without reason, and I don't do them without already being attached to it. And you know, there's very, very few pieces of work that I've done over my lifetime that I have any general attachment to whatsoever. But the one thing that is a constant is my first self-portrait. I wouldn't sell that one, and I wouldn't sell my second one, and I won't sell my third one. So they'll always be mine. Honestly, I think I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with even discussing the selling of one of my self-portraits. Yeah, like if somebody came up to me, walked up to me, like, oh, you know, I really want your self-portrait, I would probably be like, why would you want my self-portrait? Why do you want a picture of me that I drew of me? I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but to me it just seems a little odd. I don't know why anybody would be interested in it. Like, it's a picture of me. You'd be buying a picture of me. Why would anybody want that? I guess I want it, but I'm me. I don't know why anybody else would. Well, actually, Cece, you're not entirely correct there. I am willing to take on commissions. The only thing is you have to be able to afford me. Because my commission price is high, so that when people ask me, they say no. That's kind of my rule, is that I take on commissions, you just have to be able to afford me. And my commission threshold is $1,000. So if you're looking for an artist to commission to do a painting or a drawing or whatever it is that you want, I'd be happy to oblige, but it's going to be the price of what I say it is, and it's going to start a minimum at 1,000. So if that's already outside the price range, then I can't help you. And I don't do that because I think I'm the most magnificent artist in the world, because I don't think that at all. I think I'm pretty good, but I have much to learn and even more to improve. But I do it so that people say no. I have my price there so that people say no. And that if they do say yes, then it's worth it. It's worth the headache. It's worth the pain. I don't. Regarding the commissions, I don't take on commissions that I could for a lower price, because I'm not a big fan of working for people. The moment you take on a commission, you are a private contractor, and the person buying the work, buying the service that you're providing, they immediately become your boss, right? And I don't strive. I lack creativity the moment I am no longer in charge. I lose inspiration, I lose creativity, and I lose desire. And when my desire to create is taken from me, I am not happy. So, so that is my justification for my prices, because I get no commissions. I get one or two a year, really, like one or two commissions a year is about what I get. And I am perfectly content with that, because I don't need commissions. I make my money by teaching, which is where I like to make it. Yeah. I like having students instead, because I'm still the boss. Let's bring in some pinks. I think I need some extra pinks in my skin. I still feel like I need more of this color. Yeah, so I'm going to set that color aside. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more of this to the shadow, bring out some of those nice rich orange tones that the light is creating. That way my neck matches my face, because that would be weird otherwise since I don't wear makeup. And then I'm gonna grab some solvent on my brush here, my trusty favorite number 8 round brush that has been used for a very long time. And I'm just gonna give my skin here a quick smoothing, get rid of some of that pencil grain, and that's gonna be it for today. So yeah, a couple minutes left. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Don't forget to give it a thumbs down. Give today's live stream a very heartfelt thumbs down, and I mean that sincerely. Please give it a thumbs down. I'm looking forward to seeing how many I have after I finish up here. Yeah, I hope that you enjoyed it. Otherwise, you know, I hope you guys had fun. Maybe you learned something. That would be cool too. If you learned something, give the video a good old thumbs down. Maybe leave a hateful comment afterwards. No, I'm kidding about that one. You know, I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. But regardless, I really hope you guys did enjoy it. And I will be back tomorrow to work on my hair. And I have no idea how long that will take me, but yeah, maybe you'll learn something about hair if you ask the right questions. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. So thank you again. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.